piss. Keep it simple, stupid.
I promise you, this is not a political podcast.
Jump, from the deep end of the pool, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. 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 Set up the mood.
Oh yeah, testicles 1, 2, testicles. Welcome back to Paranoid Radio Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I am Trebles Garcia. And I want to thank the Lord for allowing me to be here today, and I want to thank every single one of you for allowing me to enter your space. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you that the most important thing that you can do for the show today is word of mouth. Tell your fucking cousins, tell your uncle, tell your stepmom, bro. Tell your sisters, tell your sisters' friends, tell the cheerleaders in your high school, and tell the people at your college that we are Paranoid Radio Podcast, the most impactful Latino conspiracy podcast in the motherfucking planet, the best show for the best listeners here today. Drop a 5-star review on our podcast. That allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. And check us out at paranoidradio.com. All right, enough for the promotion. Allow me to jump in from the deep end of the pool and set the freaking mood. Please give a warm welcome. Feels good to be behind the mic again, bro.
For real.
Let's give a warm welcome to my political analyst, father, business owner, and patriot, Flash from Flashy_News1. What's up, Flash?
What's up, everybody? Good to be back, man. We're a couple days late, but we're going to make up for it with content, baby. Let's go.
You know what? We're going to make up for it for content. Bro, before anything, we all know who the hell you are. You've completely dominated the sound waves while we went through the 4 years of terror with Joe Biden. And you didn't only stand tall, but you were one of those dudes that was actually selling hope. Not just the feeling of hope, not just conspiracy theories, but hope. And not only you stood tall on that hill, you battled it out, and very underrated information all over the platforms. Let them know where they can find you, bro.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that, bro. I am over on Instagram, man. Pretty much restrictions mostly been lifted as far as I can tell. Flashy_News1 back up to 20K. Got my 20K badge back. 21.1 I lost that for a while. So that feels good. So yeah, come check me out there. And I'm also on X now. Back on X. I lost that one account I made. I couldn't get back into it. So my new X account is Flashy News 14, all one word. Come check me out.
Make sure you check him out. Flashy_News1 on Instagram. He's also going to be on the drop description of this episode, and also on the drop menu as a host, political analyst of Paranoid Radio Podcast on paranoidradio.com. If we all know anything that happened with the history of you, as soon as you came into the show almost 4 years ago, bro, we've done over 100 episodes together, and you've completely gave a narrative twist to the entire show, and it also enlightened me up, and you made me into a fucking full-on Trumper. So, dude, keep on doing what you're doing, bro. We have many points to go through, dude. I need you to freaking bring it in. Anti-Israel narrative goes mainstream.
Okay, man. So this is going to be a big theme of this, and I hate to beat a dead horse, but this keeps shifting and morphing into this new thing, and it's really interesting to watch it because I don't have a dog in this race. I'm not a Zionist. I'm not pro-Palestine, and I haven't been from the beginning. I've always said we can stand right in the middle with the innocent people on both sides. I said that day one, and I said the first casualty of war is the truth. I'm just looking for the truth. That's it, right? But it's hard, man. You get pulled in each direction because each side has good arguments, blah, blah, blah. So this whole anti-Israel argument, right? This whole Candace Owens, this, Ian Carroll, cancel that clothing brand, the guy with the mustache. He does really good deep dives, really big anti-Israel guy. And Candace Owens. So Candace Owens went on Theo Vaughn's podcast, right? Very mainstream. And she brought all of her information with her. She didn't hold back. She wrote down the whole thing, explained her stances on it. And I'm not saying she's wrong. That's not what I'm saying. In fact, I've been very critical myself of Israel because I follow the facts, right? So she went there, and then like a day or two later, a day or two before, same week for sure, Ian Carroll went on Joe Rogan, right? And he brought all of the things that he brings, that whole Epstein stuff and Mossad, and very interesting, right? It's because the argument is that Israel has all of this power and you're not allowed to talk about them on the mainstream. And I mean, pretty much we're right up until about a couple months ago, really, about the whole Palestine war has really kind of lifted the veil of Israel's regime, really, which is interesting, because they kind of lost the information war, they lost the propaganda war. So I'm just kind of sitting back like, okay, so that means that is either Israel doesn't have the power, as much power as we think that they do, because this is now going mainstream. Are they losing power? They're definitely losing the global narrative of the war. People are more siding with Palestine, if anything. But then I'm like, it's because now it's fracturing the MAGA movement, though, is what it's doing. Because you have a large voting block of the MAGA movement is Christian evangelists, Bible thumpers, right? Without that voting block, Donald Trump is not in the White House. He's just not, right?
Yeah.
So according to those people, they believe in the Judeo-Christian narrative belief that Judaism and Christian are tied at the hip, but if you look at it, Christianity has a lot of Judeo in it, but Judaism doesn't have a lot of Christianity in it, like at all, actually. If you look at the Talmud, where does the Talmud say Jesus Christ is? The Talmud says Jesus Christ is in hell, rotting in shit. That's what their Bible tells them, right? So where's the Christian values there? Anyway, that's besides the point, but it isn't, though, because it's hard to break those believers that believe that. Right, it's almost impossible. So now Candace Owen, who was hailed to those people at one point, because she is a Christian, right? She was a Christian for forever. She's been on that side talking about. Now she's talking about how much she hates Israel. So those people, like, now they hate Candace Owens, right? And now Candace Owens, you see, is kind of turning her back on Trump too, because of this one specific topic,
one specific subject,
right? And listen, we cannot allow perfection to be the enemy of good. You're never going to get a perfect administration. You're never going to get these perfect things, right? So you can't let that take away from everything else that we're seeing, the secure border, the biggest tax cut in human history, all these other things, this trade war that we're going to win, right? So, but I understand it, right? So that's where, but we can understand this because we're free thinkers and we're in this movement, right? But there's so many people that get sucked in one way or the other. And once you're on there, you're in there, man, because I've tried to reason with these people on both sides. I've tried to reason with the pro-Hamas people. I've tried to reason with the pro-Israel people. I've ended up blocking both kind of accounts because it's just like, you can't, right? Because it's just, they get so in their feelings and they think, and the facts are the facts, though, but if we consider Israel to be all this powerful, all this propaganda, you have to understand that the other side does it too. That Iran and Qatar and all of these other countries, they are running propaganda campaigns through TikTok, through Instagram,
everybody's doing it.
Through all of you know what I mean? So you're not getting, but it's just so hard, man. And what I see with my fear is that I'm seeing it fracture the movement, and it's not going to be mendable, because this kind of fracturing, it's powerful because it's religion. When you get religion involved, and shit like that,
it's people's livelihood.
You know what I'm saying? It's not a good mix at all, and that's not what this movement is about. That's not what it's. The conservatives want it to be about Christian conservatism and white nationalism and all of this stuff, and that's part of it. But we would never win an election if we embraced all of those ideas. So these guys like Nick Fuentes and all of these anti-Israel big accounts that are like, we should be doing this and we should be doing that. We would never be in power, and we would just be sitting on the sidelines watching Kamala Harris be the fucking president. So, you know what I mean? You got to give and take, and that's what Trump understands about Israel. He can't just go on the podium and say, fuck the Jews, fuck Bibi, we're out. That's impossible, bro. Like, do you have to understand how intertwined these two countries have been forever? Okay, probably got JFK killed. Like, this shit is deep rooted, right? And it's been 50 days, bro. I see all of these black pill accounts just being like, yo, this is it. It's
the same thing. The same thing with the Epstein files. Everybody, I mean, I think I explained it to you in the messages. Yeah, we're going to get to that in a bit. But also another thing, like, oh, he slipped. I'm like, look, bro, look, first of all, it's just phase one. And then second, not trying to defend the guy here, but look at it at a strategic, in a strategic point, right? He's letting it out like a businessman. He's making the moves strategically, first of all. Second of all, you cannot forget that he's only human. He could only go so far. If anything, every single day that he got freaking elected, or at least confirmed and he started signing those freaking executive orders, every day it has been Christmas for us, bro. Every day was a freaking win. He had a slip up. Fuck it, you know?
But I don't even know, like, you can look at it. I don't even look at it as a slip. I mean, like, I guess nobody's perfect, but like I said, like, the perfection can't be the enemy of good, right? Of course, like, there's nobody's perfect, but like, Trump is not looking at this as a quarter by quarter basis. He's looking at this as a 4-year. This is his 4 years, right? This is what he has. So it's going to look like this right now, but you can't look at it through a microscope, like a 40,000 foot view, right? So, like, you know, we can get into. You want to get into the trade war stuff right now?
We're gonna jump into the Christian psyop, bro. Right before we jump into that.
Well, yeah, that's actually a good segue because that's the Christian psyop. Is that this Judeo-Christian thing is connected, right? And that we're connected to Israel, and that's why you have to support them. And it's like, but if we attack that too hard, then we fracture the movement and it's over, bro. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I'm stuck in this position where the truth is the truth and it matters, but is it detriment to the movement? You know what I'm saying? And it's like we're pro-Western civilization, right? Right. That's what we have in common with Israel at this point, if I had to say something. Right? They are pro-Western civilization. They are the only pro-Western civilization country in the Middle East. If you look at those other countries, how do they treat women? You want to talk about apartheid? There's an apartheid of gender in those fucking countries. Okay, women are second-class citizens in Muslim countries. They can't even show their faces. They get raped at 9 years old. You can get married at 4 years old. So who are we defending?
Yo,
who are we defending? Pedophilia is legal. Okay, you can beat the shit out of your wife on the street. You can do all of these things that you want, and and now you want to talk about, oh my God, the Trump is throwing these people in jail that are protesting. That's an illegal protest, pro-Hamas. They are against Western civilization. Where do we draw the line? Would we draw the line if those were KKK members and they were going after black students? Would we draw the line? How is this any different? That pro-Hamas people are threatening a specific race of people, the Jewish people. I don't care how you feel about them.
That's not a lie, guys. If you guys don't fucking believe what he just said, hashtag look this up. Pedophilia. It doesn't matter your age. If a daughter can menstruate, she is completely open for marriage and intercourse.
Ready to have
in Muslim religion. That's fact.
11, 12, 13. And this is radical Islam, bro. Like, this is, you know what I mean? Like this isn't like your Muslim friend that you live next to in Michigan or something. Like, no, this is like radical. This is what these people are fighting for. They believe that the Gentiles, and we know what, we should get into the genocide right now too, because this is perfect.
Yes, that's
because this is a perfect example of what we're up against, right? I don't see any Jews genociding Christians. They might spit on them in Jerusalem because that's a tradition of theirs to disrespect, and that's fine. We don't believe in they spit on them, but they don't slaughter them in the streets. That's the difference between Western civilization and their civilization. Spitting on someone or slaughtering them in the street. Okay, so when you're taking the side of Hamas or Palestine, just be careful, because that's, what are you really supporting? You may not agree with what Israel, and I don't listen. You don't have to at me about it. I know Israel. I know all the history. We went over it. I know. But do you enjoy your Western civilization life or not? Do you enjoy being able to walk down the street with your wife, with whoever, with your face open, doing whatever the fuck, saying whatever you want, having a drink, whatever it is? Do you enjoy it or not? And unfortunately, these are the spoils that we have to go through. These are the things that we have to do to keep our way of life. And I'm not supporting it, right? But if we look at the other side of the coin, look what's happening in Syria right now. Look what is happening in Syria right now. Tulsi Gabbard, our new DNI, National Defense Director, warned that this would happen. If the Russian influence left Syria and Assad was overthrown, that this would happen, that the religious minorities in Syria would be slaughtered by the radical Islams that would take over. And look what happened, right? We got the left, the globalists got what they want. They've been trying to get Assad out of there forever. Because why? Because he's pro-Putin. That's the only reason. That's the only reason, was to try to hurt Putin, was to try to overthrow Assad. Their obsession with overthrowing Putin and getting into Russia, because Russia has the number one rare earth minerals in the world, $72 trillion. That's part of it, and the central bank is the other part of it. Okay, that's what it's all about. Okay, because the Russian people are doing just fine. They're happy. Like, do you ever hear anything about Russia? Like, they're fine. Their economy's fine. They're fine. Why are we obsessed? and we overthrew the Ukrainian government to get there. Like, do we do all of these things just to get this one? So now the Syrian people, now they're suffering. Now they're being murdered in the street. Now they're being genocide in the street by radical jihadists, Christians, the Druids. All of the religious minorities are now, I think it was 865 slaughtered yesterday. Like this is what we're up against.
Trying to change the conversation to Russia. Thank you for bringing that in. The tariffs. This is big. China put tariffs on Canada. We freaking put the tariffs on Canada. Canadian governors or whatever the fuck, provinces, whatever the fuck they're called, they're saying, no, we're going to 200% on electricity, bro.
Ontario, the province.
Hit it, bro. What the heck?
Bro, we have an update on this too. This just dropped. So take a step back. So Trump originally threatened tariffs on Canada and Mexico, right? And then they came to the table. Mexico beefed up their security at the border, so Trump dropped those tariffs. He said he talked to Shannon Baum, the Jewish Mexican president, which is fucking crazy, right? And then so she actually been very respectful, and they've had a really good conversations, really good back and forth. So Trump dropped those tariffs because she's doing more, right? Not only that, she sent 29 of the leading cartel members that were in Mexican jail. She sent them to the United States to be prosecuted. The first time that's ever happened.
Bro,
so that's a big deal, right?
The amount of people that don't know that, I need you to freaking say that loud and clear again, bro.
Bro, the first time ever.
Yes.
The 29 top cartel members that were chilling in a Mexican prison, probably banging prostitutes, having a great time, playing freaking casinos and all that, were deported to America to face trial because one of them killed a DEA agent, and we've been trying to get his ass for the last 15 years, but Mexico would never give him up because cartels run the Mexican government. So this just shows you the power of tariffs, right? All Trump had to do was threaten tariffs, and Mexico did a thing they never did before in their lives, which was send cartel members to America to be prosecuted. They're going to face the death penalty. They're going to be in jail for the rest of their lives, not chilling in Mexico. So that's a big deal. It's the power of tariffs, right? So now Trudeau wanted to act a little bit tougher, right? He wanted to act a little bit, well, yeah, okay, all right. 25% tariffs on Canada, right? And now the premier of Ontario, which I guess is like kind of the president of the Ontario, he's like kind of his own thing over there. He said that he was, so I guess Ontario, I didn't know this. It's very, very good to know that Ontario supplies over 6.5 million Americans with electricity in Michigan, Minnesota, and New York. Only those three, right? About 3% of our people, not a lot. But it's important. I'm in New York, fuck, right? I mean, I don't want to be cold. I want my shit to turn off when it gets hot. So he said he's going to put a 25% tariff because Trump. So Trump actually said, okay, what I'm going to do is we're going to do reciprocal tariffs, right? Even with Mexico, we're going to drop to 25%. But on April 2nd, we're going to do reciprocal tariffs to every country that has tariffs on us. We're going to tariff them, right? Now, Trump knows that Canada relies on about a $200 billion subsidy every year from America. Without America, Canada would not exist. This is where the whole 51st state conversation actually started, because it started with Trudeau and Trump having a conversation. And he was like, listen, I want a fair trade deal with Canada. Trudeau said, if we did that, we wouldn't survive. And Trump was like, well, if you can't survive, you might as well become 51st state. It was a joke, but it's serious now, because if you can't survive without a fair trade, you shouldn't even be a country, essentially, right? So he's going to do reciprocal tariffs, which would hurt Canada so much. I mean, I think that we import like 80%. They only like 2% of their stuff comes here. 80% of our stuff comes there. Like, it would kill them, right? Or vice versa. But they tariff the shit out of our dairy. They like 390%. They tariff our dairy. They tariff our cars. They tariff every fucking thing that comes into Canada, right? That's how they make their money. So he was like, okay, we're going to do that.
Bleeding it out. Well, we're just bleeding it out, and I can't even fucking pay my rent.
This is why they have free healthcare in Canada. Why do you think you can have fucking free healthcare in Canada? Because you have a $200 billion subsidy a year. We're paying for your free healthcare, essentially, just like everywhere else, right? It's ridiculous, right? So now with the reciprocal tariffs, so then now the Ontario premier got tough again because he thinks he has a good position because of the electricity, right? So Trump was like, okay, you want us to charge 25% tariffs? No problem. I'm going to declare a national emergency with energy, which will allow me to take over the grid, right? And supply our own people with energy, which we should be doing from the fucking start anyway. We should be supplying.
Thank you.
I don't care if it's your friend or your foe, no matter what, we should be supplying ourselves. And this is what's happening now. This is the whole conversation, is that every country should be taking care of themselves, especially with specific things like medicine and energy and things like that, right? So it was a brilliant move. So now Trump was like, okay, so fine, I'll do that. I'm going to put 50% more tariff on your steel. I'm going to put 100% tariffs on your auto. Let's go. I dare you. 30 minutes later, this is the update. The Ontario Premier has decided to take off the 25% electricity tariff and is no
playing
longer
games.
charging.
Get the fuck out.
It's no
Shut the
longer
front door.
charging. No longer charging. Or never actually did. It was all a threat. And now he's coming to Washington, D.C. on March 13th to have a discussion about renegotiating the United States, Canada, Mexico trade deal. Oh,
Mic drop.
wow. There it is,
Mic
ladies
drop.
and gentlemen. And what's going to happen is tariffs are going to come down for all countries, and there's going to be actual free trade, and the market is going to jump like you've never seen it jump. Mark my fucking words.
And this is here right now, analyzed by Flash, and every single fucking time.
Buy the dip. Buy the dip. Buy the dip. I'm telling you.
When you say it, it comes out to fruition, bro. And we got a couple more, bro. And remember, dude, guys, I am recording back to back today, so we do have limited time. We got a couple more points here. Give me the peace talks and then jump into the economic outlook, bro.
Peace talks. I have an update right now, actually. Just hot off the presses. Ukraine has agreed to a 30-day ceasefire to come to the table and make a peace deal. That just came out just now. Remember, what is it, 3 days ago? They never were going to take a ceasefire deal. Vladimir Zelensky was acting like a big tough guy, waving his little pecker dick in there, thinking he was tough.
He did his rounds. He did his rounds. He went to Saudi Arabia. Then he went to Italy. So he was trying to see who else would seek and recruit.
Trump put his foot down. And then that's why Italy said nope. He ran to UK. UK said, we'll give you $2 billion. What's that going to do, bro? You're going to blow that in 2 weeks. We were giving $350 billion, bro. UK can't help. He can't help you, bro. And then he just came around. And so he wrote a personal thank you letter to Donald Trump. Donald Trump received that the other day. It hasn't been made public. It was a personal letter. Trump appreciated that, right? And all of a sudden, they went to Saudi Arabia the other day to meet with Marco Rubio. They sat down for peace talks. And Ukraine is now at the table, ready to make peace. Now it's on Putin. Trump already has Putin where he wants him to be. Russia just got hit with a huge drone strike yesterday. They're not looking good.
Moscow.
They're not looking good, right? You know what I'm saying? So the shit's ramping up. So it's a Putin time
if he wants to retaliate, bro, he could do it, bro. He's right there.
He's been very. Listen, bro. Russia has the most nukes. I'm gonna just say they have the most nukes, and he's been very tempered, bro.
I heard something about Trump doing deals with Russia, bro. I want to segue into that. What the fuck, dude?
Okay, but like I said before, right? Who has the most rare earth minerals in the world? The one thing the United States lacks is rare earth minerals. That's why we rely on China so much. So if we wanted to cut our shit from China, right, which we want to do, we want to get off of China, that China fiend, right? We have to make deals. That's why the Ukrainian mineral deal was so brilliant, because now we can get off of fucking China's ass with that, right? Now, Russia, if we can make a deal with Russia, why wouldn't we make a deal with Russia? Russia needs our gas. We need their minerals. It would be a peace deal because we would send American companies in there to dig the shit out. So what are you going to blow each other up? You know what I mean? So this is the brilliance of making a business deal, because even if we're in Ukraine digging, Russia's not going to invade Ukraine if there's American interests, if there's American companies, American workers, not soldiers. You don't even need soldiers, because that's the peace deal right there. Is that what we make an agreement? Peace deals, is business deals or peace deals, right? And Russia needs to look good. Russia needs to accept the Western world back, bro. They got hit hard. McDonald's went and left, Starbucks left. They got sanctioned. All their banks got sanctioned, bro. Like they were struggling, but
and their bounce back should be. Yeah.
And Putin, he was smart. He got off the SWIFT system. He got on BRICS. He did all of these things. But it's like, bro, like the West is really powerful, bro. Like it was our markets. If we accept Russia back into the market, bro, everybody can make this money, bro. That's what it is, man. Everybody can make this money, bro, and nobody has to die. That's what Trump is about.
And guys, just to give some emphasis on what these minerals are, these are the minerals that go into your microchips. Remember what I'm telling you guys. The microchips that powers your car, your GPS, your fucking electric toothbrush, your dildo. Everything has a microchip, and everything that you're using right now. I'm telling you right now, it's essential.
And now what? That chip company is moving from Taiwan, and they're going to build their
to Arizona,
right here in Arizona. Thank you, Donald Trump.
Dog, get the fuck out, dude. That was also a big move that people overlooked. People do not know, and they just don't give a fuck. And a lot of the people most of the hate messages of Trump that I get, I'm like, dude, you guys spend so much time trying to find hate on Trump and send it to me than me trying to convince you that Trump's a good guy. You're more in love with Trump than I am.
For real, bro. It's crazy, bro. The thing they have to like convince themselves of is wild, bro. Really
wild. All right, Trump's speech to Congress and jump into Gaza, bro.
Okay, so yeah, Trump speaks to that was I mean it's kind of old news now, so we'll just go quickly through it. But everybody's seen it by now. It was a master class. He set the Democrats up beautifully. He knew
That
they
was
weren't going to
nice.
clap.
That
Bro,
was
come on,
nice. Yeah.
he brought that 13-year-old kid with brain cancer. That was beautiful. He made him an honorary agent of the Secret Service. That was awesome. The kid was so happy. They couldn't even clap for that, bro. And and it's like it's such a clear vision now. They sat there looking miserable. What are they even about, bro? Orange man bad ain't cutting it anymore. What are you doing for your people? What are your policies? What is your ideas? What are you doing? You're doing
Inclusivity?
nothing besides
Inclusivity, huh?
negativity, bro. Right? And inclusivity, no, it's negativity. That's
It's
the only
negativity.
thing that they're
Mhm.
pushing, bro. And it sat there and you saw it on their faces. The only thing they clapped for was Ukraine and Zelensky. That was the only thing they clapped.
But I don't see any of them fucking gearing up and going to war to the front lines if they love Ukraine so much. I'm just saying, bro, you guys
Go
can't
ahead.
freaking cap for
They're
a freaking
accepting.
kid that's beating the battle with brain cancer that's 13 and black, bro. That's not
Come on,
inclusivity. We're probably the
dude.
most inclusive party in the freaking planet.
So,
That's
bro, we even
inclusivity
got
right there.
Democrats in our shit, bro. We got Democrats in our cabinet. Tulsi Gabbard and RFK. Have you ever
Talk
seen a
about.
Republican in a Democrat's cabinet? Fuck
Yeah.
out of here,
All right, big dog. We got a couple more points here. All right, finally to the Gaza plan, and then we're gonna jump into the Epstein
bro.
files.
Okay, so everybody made a huge deal about this whole Gaza Trump plan. That Trump had this plan. Oh my God, look, Bibi Netanyahu's controlling Trump. He's going to take over Gaza. And then Trump put out that video of the AI generated of him chilling in Gaza with Elon Musk and Bibi. And it was like a Trump tower. And everyone was like, look, see, I told you. And I was just like, yo, just relax, bro. This is Trump cooking, bro. This is how Trump negotiates. He's putting pressure on the Arab countries. I said that from day one, and I said,
Word.
let it play out. I said, just give it a chance. He's putting pressure. That's why he put that video out, because they don't want that. They don't want the big white people to come in and take care of the Arab country. And they don't trust them, and they shouldn't trust them. Right. And this is what Trump is saying. Like, bro, like, do you want this? Like, this is what you want? Or do you going to step up and take care of your people? Because to this point, they have refused to do that. They have refused. Egypt and Jordan have refused to help the Palestinian people because they feel that they've been radicalized to the point where they can't be trusted in a civil society. Maybe they're right. They probably know more than we do. So, keep on protesting for Palestine, though. But I digress. So I think it's interesting, though. So now Egypt and Jordan have come up with a $53 billion plan of their own to clean up Gaza. And now, listen, we all want the Gaza people, to Palestinian people, to have that land. Nobody's saying that they shouldn't be there, but they can't live there right now. There's no sewers, there's no water, there's no anything, bro. There's no hospitals, there's no schools, there's no nothing, and there's fucking bombs that haven't been exploded yet. So that's just the reality of the situation. Nobody can live there right now. So the best bet would be for the other Arab countries to go in there, clean it out, do what they could do, take in those people, and then when they're done, they would be the most trusted to put them back. And it takes it out of Israel's hand, it takes it out of Bibi's hands, it takes it out of the West's hands, and they get to deal with it themselves. I think it's a beautiful plan, and it's all coming to fruition. You got to let them cook.
And it all started with, we're gonna take over the Gaza Strip.
That
was beautiful.
That was when it all started, bro. And then all of a sudden, Jordan stepped up. They took in 2,000 Gazan children. All of a sudden, everybody wanted to help. They wanted to seem like, oh my God, Trump is good. We have to help these people. These are our people. Come on, hurry up. There you go. Art of the deal.
Art of the deal. And I think this is one of the most important parts of this entire show, bro. I really want to jump in because I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a human being, bro. And I was this close to getting convinced on it. I was disappointed on phase one. And then I was like, I need to psych myself out and look at this like a business deal. What happened with the Epstein files, bro? Hit me.
Okay, so actually, there's another update about that, actually, that just came out. So Alina Habba, who's the counselor to the president, she's like the president's right hand, pretty much, or consigliere, if we were talking in mafia terms. She said that she is now pretty much aware of the case. So a truckload of new documents just came this week to Pam Bondi, right? So now the whole thing is that the SDNY has been controlling it because Epstein was out of New York, right? That was his home base. That was his main operation. So they handled the cases, right? So now the guy that was leading the Southern District of New York FBI field office, Donaghy, he's the one that just got canned, that they forced to retire because Pam Bondi put the spotlight on them and said, listen, I'm waiting on these mother truckers to step up and get it, right? And to send me the documents. And that guy was like, okay, whatever, I'm out. I'm not dealing with this. And then Cash hadn't even been in there yet. Cash just got there. This shit was all going on before even Cash got there, right? So then Cash got there. He was like, okay, I'm on the case now. I'm hunting this shit down. I'm going to figure this out. So ever since then, a truckload, they said, thousands of documents came, right? This is what Alina Habba said, who's the right hand to the president.
Yeah.
She said that they came, they're here, they're being looked through to make sure that all the victims' names are out of it. She said that it's a tremendous amount of documents. She said, but I will tell you this, convictions are coming. Subpoenas are coming, but she was like, you have
Yeah.
to understand that it takes time. They have to build a case, right? This is such a public thing right now, and the documents are so specific with names and dates, so they have to go through all of that, make sure there's no minors, no innocent people, all of this stuff, right? So it's going to take some time, but she was very confident in saying that we are going to get transparency. So I don't think there's any reason not to believe that right now. You know what I mean? I know people want what they want it right now, but bro, this
Yeah.
is the real life. This isn't like,
Real
you know what
life,
I'm saying?
real life situation.
You know, and like there's a lot of shit tied to this. I'm sure there's a lot of lobbying going on behind the scenes, but there's so much pressure right now that we are going to get what we want, because if Pam Bondi doesn't do it, she's going to be forced to resign and somebody else is going to do it. Because it was supposed to be Matt Gaetz. That he was going to get it done, right? And then they
Word.
put the pressure on his ass to get out of there. So I think there's a plan B if Pam Bondi doesn't do it. Now that Cash is involved, and now, another little tidbit, Cash requested a direct line to the president. Usually the FBI director speaks to the AG, who's Pam Bondi, to speak to the president. Never does the FBI talk directly to Trump. Cash wants a direct line to the president. So there might be some stuff going on behind the scenes. Maybe Pam Bondi's not doing what she's supposed to do. Maybe they're having some questions about her. It's going to get done, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? So we just got to be patient. It's 50 days. 50 days. Okay? We need to take some patience. I would say within the next year, we'll start seeing some real movement. We'll get the papers in the next probably month or two, and we'll see some real movement with subpoenas and the rest within the year.
I'm not gonna lie. The freaking folder said phase 1. Guys, this is coming out in phases. All right, bro. And there's gonna be juicy parts. My little theory was this guy is allowing these people to a lawyer up. There's also minors and people that were accused of, and the accusers, and then you got the victims that are still open, have open trials, have open case laws there, under witness protection, et cetera, et cetera. So I think there's a lot of things tangling up that are holding back that information.
Absolutely, bro. And you got to understand the bureaucracy of the whole system. Like, just because Pam Bondi's in there, there's still thousands of employees that hate Donald Trump that are working with inside the FBI that are blocking this information, right? That they don't want to help us. They don't want to get us what we want to know. They got friends in high places. You know what I mean? So this all of this shit is going on behind the scenes. I think Pam Bondi,
I could only imagine the pressure on her.
Exactly, right? And I think she got excited. She didn't realize how hard it would actually be to get these papers. She put out phase 1 to kind of temper everybody, to be like, yo, something's coming. Even though it was trash, that was a mistake. That was a miss. She fucked up.
Word.
You know what I mean? Giving it to the influencers, that was weird. But I think she was just trying to buy herself a little time. And then she just was like, you know what? I'm going to put it on this dude because it's really his fault. The SDNY guy got him to resign. Cash got in. And now we're in a different ballgame.
Absolutely. What is the ultimate psyop, bro?
Man, this is it right now, right? So the ultimate psyop that I see playing right now is to get you to hate your country, is to get you to hate America. Because I see pro-American accounts up until now that have been so pro-America, everything, but now this one Israel thing, right? Now all of a sudden I see a switch, and they're like, bro, Israel controls America. America must fall now. Like, it's that. It happened that fucking fast. And it's like, bro, that's the ultimate psyop. Maybe that's why Israel's going mainstream. Maybe that's why Israel's going mainstream. Because if they can't get you to hate America through America, they'll get you to hate America through Israel.
No bad publicity. There's no such thing as bad publicity.
Bro, why? Right? Because listen, the ultimate goal of the Khazarian mafia, the people that claim to be the Jews, right, is to bring down the European race so that they can be the superior one, right? Because their religion is one of supremacy. That's what it is. I mean, that's what it is. And I'm not saying Jewish people are like normal Jews. I'm not talking about that. This is a deep state. Let's call it that. It's a deep state. Just like we have a deep state, they have a deep state, right? And America is the golden calf. America is the freedom on the fucking hill. We are the last bastion of hope for the rest of the world to have any sense of limited tyranny. Because we live in some tyranny too, but at least it's limited compared to some of these other countries, right? And all these other countries look to America to say, well, what's America doing, right? And now Europe is turning so left because it's so obvious, because now look at America turning right. And we have that power to actually turn people right. The whole world is literally coming right to our side now. Romania, they're trying to fucking kick this guy off the ballot because he's too far right, but the people want populism. It's not even right, it's populism. It's freedom. It's pro actual democracy, real republic shit. So I think the ultimate goal is to bring down America. But if you can't do it through America, you'll do it through another country like Israel. You'll say that Jeffrey Epstein was controlling everybody. He was working for Israel. He got this guy. And even though it's true, but it's like, bro, you gotta pick a side, bro, and say, dude, bro, you either pro Western civilization or not. We are this close away from fucking losing.
Holy crap. This episode is called Tariffs. We went through 2 different renditions of what we're going to bring in this episode because we were letting it marinate and let the time to be right to drop this episode. And it couldn't work any better because you just dropped information that came in hours or even minutes before we started conversating.
You're so right, bro.
So this episode is called Tariffs, guys, but it really is a genocide of, the American dream, the American culture, Christians out there, morality, common sense, which is not so common anymore. Flash, I need you to let them know, give your final thoughts and let them know where they can find you.
We cannot allow affection to be the enemy of good. We're never going to get every single thing we wanted, but it's 50 days in, it's looking pretty fucking good. And this tariff war is going to play out. The economy is going to bounce back. We were already in a recession of American-born workers. They were lying to us. All of these foreign-born workers were going to these jobs. Now it's reversed. In the first job report, 230,000 American-born workers got jobs. 87,000 foreign workers lost their job because they got deported or whatever it was. So give it time. It's going to play out by the dip. Godspeed.
That's right. Let them, guys, and you can also find them at _news1 on Instagram. On the description of the show. Flash, thank you so much for being here today, dude, and dropping bombs of knowledge. I'm sorry I took you away from your family, dude, but you always have to deliver this message, bro. Thank you so much for being here.
100%.
Ladies and gentlemen, check us out at ParanoidRadio.com. Drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. That allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Peace
Let's go, baby.
Paranoid Radio.